Have you ever watched a large, frantic, over-the-top Bollywood dance scene and just wondered, what the hell is going on? Or maybe you've seen a weird artistic French movie that has an ending you just quite don't understand? The world of movies is enormous, and among the millions of movies that have been made, some are bound to be odd, or downright bad. But there are differences in the cultures that produce the films, which doesn't make the films necessarily bad, it simply makes them different. American movies are easily the most popular movies in the world. American movies dominate the global box office, the streaming services, and the cinemas of other countries. In the past years, only China has gained a foothold in the industry on a truly global scale. I'll focus on that another time, but people in the West watch a lot of American movies, period. Why? Answers such as they're better or they have more money might be true in some instances, but overall, that's not the case. These three reasons separate American movies from any other film industry in the world. Number 1. Popular American movies are born in a capitalist setting. The American studio system was born in the 1900s, and making movies for the studios meant making movies to make money. The studios were business companies, their products were movies, and the masses were their consumers. The more consumers watch a film, the more money the business makes, hence the more successful the business is. Simple economics. By the 2000s, everybody knew that movies could make money, especially through blockbusters. Behind each of these is the same agenda: sell the product and make a profit. The reason I underscore this is because making money is not the agenda in every film culture in the world, but something which is extremely common in American movies, at least the ones which are globally distributed. A capitalist agenda changes the film. It changes the writing, the distribution, the content. It defines the entire lifespan of the movie. Number 2, American movies have the best distribution system in the world. During the Cold War, the American government began spreading American culture at unprecedented volume. Movies, music, cars, literature, everything was spread all over the world. But the most important one was language. The US government worked hard to popularize the English language, which in turn made American culture more popular and eventually gave America cultural supremacy. During the second half of the 20th century, large studios stopped producing films but rather began distributing them. By opening these large distribution offices in basically every country that allowed them to, the American film distribution system spread everywhere. Any movie could be spread locally without the hindrance of international laws or bureaucracy. This became the number one advantage for popularizing American movies. Nowadays, we have streaming services alongside theaters. The deep roots of the distribution system have been a huge part of creating American cultural acceptance, so building upon that foundation, the streaming services have become extremely popular. The most popular streaming services are American, which in turn accelerates the amount consumers watch American content. This mastery of distributing movies in theaters and people's homes is a major part of the success of American movies. Number 3. The movies themselves have certain cinematic elements which help them transcend boundaries. So the American popular movie is by nature made to make money and also effortlessly distributed across the world. These two alone are enough to make any movie successful, but naturally, audiences change, the world changes, technology changes, etc. This means that the movies themselves must constantly change as well. As the budgets of popular movies rise, the willingness to take risks decreases with people who fund them. Because of this, popular movies have become tamer, and they're not willing to take large financial risks. This easily results in bad writing, or as I like to say, cautious writing. Cautious writing or cautious storytelling doesn't take risks, and while avoiding them, it ends up taking much larger ones and sometimes results in major flops. But cautious storytelling isn't always bad. Sometimes it can financially work out really well. In the golden age of Hollywood, American films were filled with a uniform but very American vision. Faith in democratic order, a classless society, dreams about the golden opportunities offered by capitalist work ethic. Nowadays, blockbusters are much more delocalized. They happen all over the world, in every continent. The movies have much less dialogue and they become a lot more visual. This visual rise can be seen in the level of violence, action, sex, or fantasy. All of these can be conveyed visually without using culturally specific language. Some academics call this transnational cinema, since it transcends national boundaries with the intent of profiting off international audiences. Transnational cinema should not be mixed with a complete lack of a nationality. The most popular American movies are still very American and present very American values within them. The good guys always speak English. Certain ideas of masculinity, femininity, and beauty are highly prevalent in them. The movies have very commercial plots. In the end, modern blockbusters are not that different from Hollywood's Golden Age films. It's just that they're more cautious. The film language has changed, not necessarily the film content. Okay, so we've established 3 major reasons why American films are so popular: capitalist nature, effective distribution, and transnationality. Why does this all matter? According to any statistic, the average Western person spends hours every day watching TV, movies, series, or other audiovisual content. Don't you think that after some time, the content they're watching will start affecting them? If a major part of the content is American, wouldn't that mean that the American way of telling stories would become a norm? In short, this means that we become used to certain ways to write and understand stories. We become used to simplistic storytelling, such as the 3-act structure. Hi, I'm Jack, I'm happy. Oops, I'm not happy anymore because of this incident. Oops, now I'm happy again because I went through that incident and I'm stronger. Alongside this, we might become more culturally hegemonic. We lose the ability to understand other cultures and languages. We lose the unique qualities of different countries. More than that, we lose our ability to independently feel. If most of our time spent awake is used by consuming content which promotes feeling a certain way of a certain thing, we inevitably become a little conditioned to think that the way we're feeling is right. Disney and Pixar movies are a great example of this. Disney and Pixar movies are made to elicit emotion. All of these movies are filled with powerful music, they focus on strong conflict, they handle hard topics such as loss, forgiving, and even death. The end point is to make you cry by using strong emotional cinematic stimuli. Disney and Pixar movies are not only made to make you cry, but they also happen to be distributed all over the world to perfection. They're made to profit, so incredibly talented people are hired to make a good product. The movies have enough transnational cinematic language, such as odd or international characters, that the movies feel delocalized. This is no doubt a perfect recipe for a successful movie, but we must not forget that the movies are still inherently American. They're filled with American values regarding beauty, patriarchy, or sexuality, basically all of the invisible societal forces that science can examine. Associating these values with emotion and popularity, it creates a cultural cocktail, and it showcases some of the strongest forces movies have on society. Especially when we forgot one thing: Disney and Pixar movies are generally made for kids. Isn't this just the perfect recipe for emotionally conditioning an entire generation on what good American values are? Making huge and popular American movies for kids? Now, I'm not saying that one person or organization ever just came up with this, that's a conspiracy theory. I'm arguing that this is a product of a long historical process. The popular movie is there, the money is there, the emotion is there, the values are there. I must say, I really love Disney movies and Pixar movies. I think there's some masterpieces in there, and this has really nothing to do with that. All of this talk about popular American movies, their film language, emotions, transnationality, it's meant to show us how the web of the American cultural system works, and through this help us understand what we're watching and be more mindful about the things we see on screen. The whole basis of understanding how popular films work is simply to understand, how do popular films affect the way we feel? Why do we feel the way we feel? Hey, thanks for watching. I want to hear what you think about popular movies, so go ahead and speak your mind in the comments. I'm also working on something new all the time. If you want to hear about it, subscribe.